Hello everyone. Today we're going to do something called dividing segments proportionally. So the first question we want to do, we already know how to do. We want to find the point on the directed segment, and a directed segment just means that it's a straight line going from left to right that divides it in a ratio of 1 to 1. So we already know that that means the midpoint. But there's two ways to think about it. So if we plot -4, 5, A, and we plot the point 12, 13. B. We want to find the midpoint. So I could find the midpoint using the midpoint formula, or I could think about the fact that I can make a triangle. I can make a triangle by drawing the horizontal over to B and the vertical up to B. And I want to break this in a ratio of 1 to 1. So going over the horizontal, I see that the horizontal distance from A to B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 long. Therefore, halfway, so that it's 1 to 1, would be 8. So this would be the halfway point. And then I want to do the same thing vertical so that I'm breaking it so it's 1 to 1. So when I look at the vertical segment, it is 8, so halfway is up 4. So if I connect that over to my line and my halfway horizontally up to my line, I find this point, which is 4, 4, which is the midpoint. And I could have found that using the formula, but that's how I can find it using the graph. Now, another way to do it is to think about that this is 16. So halfway is 8. So if I'm going from -4 over 8, I'm really just adding it to get 4. And then since vertically it's 8, half of that is up 4. So I can think about the fact, and I'm sorry, this isn't 4, 4. That's way wrong. It's 4, but down here's my x-axis. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 4, 9. So, but I'm starting at 5, and I'm going to go up 4. So I do 5 plus 4, which gives me 9. So what's another way to ask this question? I could ask for the midpoint, or I could ask for the point that is halfway. From A to B. And it's 4, 9. So now I want to find the point that's directed segment that's a ratio of 1 to 3. So what I'm going to do here is, again, I'm going to plot the points. So I have -4, 5. That's A. And B is 12, 13. And then I'm just going to use the tool to draw the line. I want my line to be blue. So now I want to break this in ratio of 1 to 3. So you notice that I chose the same points. So that means I know already without counting that this is 16. Oops, I'm not on. I was still on the line tool. And then when I do the vertical line, that is 8. Now, when I wanted it in ratio of 1 to 1, I wanted to break it into 2 parts. Now I want it in ratio of 1 to 3, which means I want 4 parts. Or another way to ask is I want a point 1/4 of the way. Because I know I want it in 4 parts because I want to break it in 1 to 3. So that means I want a total of 4 parts. So if I'm 16 wide, to break that into 4 parts, which would mean that each part is 4. So there's one part. There's the second part. So that gives me 4 equal parts. Vertically, I remember from above that it's 8. So I go up 2, 2, 2, and that's 4 equal parts. Now I want it in 1 to 3. So that means I want to go from A, because I always go from left to right, over 1. So that's this point. And up from A, over. And so that gives me the point 0, 7. Or if I want to think about it, the A is -4, 5. I add 4 to the X and add 2 to the Y. Because the X, each part is 4, and in the Y, each part is 2. And I don't know why I wrote 7. Or 7, 5. So it's 0, 7. Now, for those of you who don't like to do things graphically, there is a formula that I can use. So actually, let's write the 0, 7 smaller so I can use my formula. So the formula is, if I want the point between A and B, I'm going to call the ratio M to N. So I would do N times XA plus M times XB over M plus N. That's how I find my X coordinate, comma, N times YA plus M times YB over M plus N. So let's see how this works. So my N is 3. So I do 3 times -4 plus 1 times 12 over 4, comma, 3 times 5 plus 1 times 13 over 4. And I calculate that because this is my point. So 3 times -4 is -12 plus 12. Oh, that's 0. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 13. That's 28 divided by 4 is 7. You may, on any test or quiz, the Regents, do it graphically or using the formula. So now I want you to pause. I want you to try this one. But first I want to help you. They want me to find the coordinates that sits 2/5 of the way. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find that as a ratio. So 2/5 means I'm breaking it into 5 equal parts. That means I want the ratio to be 2 to 3. So I want you to pause, and I want you to find the answer either graphically or using the formula. Okay, so you can see that I've done it both ways. First of all, graphically, I know from A to B the horizontal distance is 16. So I want to divide it into 5 equal parts. So 16 divided by 5 is 16/5. I want the ratio to be 2 to 3. So I'm going to multiply 16/5 times 2 to figure out how far over 2 sections is. And that means that it's over 32/5. So to find the coordinate, I do the x-coordinate -4 plus 32/5, which gives me 12/5. Now for the vertical distance, I do 8 divided by 5, which is 8/5. Again, I'm going to go up 2 of them. So that's 16/5. And I want to go up 2 from 5. So I do 5 plus 16/5. And that leads me to the point 41/5. So the answer would be 12/5, 41/5. Now, I can do that the same way using the formula, where I do the second part of the ratio, which I called n, times the x-coordinate, so it's 3 times -4, plus the first part of the ratio times the x-coordinate of the second point, 2 times 12, all divided by the sum of the points, 2 plus 3. And then I do the same thing for the y, so I did 3 times 5 plus 2 times 13 divided by 5 gave me the exact same answer. So, last example for today, which we'll actually do together in class tomorrow. If you have any questions, please let me know tomorrow in class.